Welcome back to the ADCC Update Show, the worst show on the internet where we talk about ADCC and nothing else, dude, so don't even ask, all right? Now let's get down to brass tacks. I'm Atlantic City Troy. With me, as always, is Uncle Reed, Joey Scoops over there on the side desk. Then we got a special guest, Jake Watson in the house, baby. Everybody give it up.
Clap it up, clap it up.
For Jake Watson.
I prefer Papa Reed rather than Uncle Reed, by the way.
Like Papa Reed?
Just let you know.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. Yeah. Usually it's Uncle Corey and Papa Reed, but I don't know, you felt like more of an unk today. But yeah, we got Jake Watson in the house. Jake, how's it going?
You brought an energy that was not there leading up to this.
Yeah, for sure.
That was aggressive.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I was just in Austin this week and for some unrelated thing, and then I came by the Flow studio to visit Dawn, and here I am on the Flow podcast.
Yeah,
now, so.
Thanks for coming on, dude. We had no idea you were going to be on today until you came walking around the corner, and you might as well.
Well, I showed up.
You are just dripped out in Flow gear, dude.
You know, I look like a Flow enthusiast for sure, but I needed a hat because my hair looks absolutely, my barber's probably going to watch this and ream me.
What do you think about the vibes here? We got the fire going, back a little fireside chat here,
Don showed me the studio, and I think this is one of the coolest studios I've actually been in, and I've been thinking about how I could do a podcast myself anyway, and I plan on stealing several ideas from you guys.
Yeah.
So this is very, very nice.
Way.
Yeah, no, it looks great. This is a great studio. This whole Flow office is unreal. It's like something out of the freaking future. You guys got a lot of stuff going on.
All the money comes from Flow Racing, so
that's what I was told. You guys got a whole NASCAR outfit. Yeah. I'm like, dang, man, what is it?
Yeah, there's a lot more racing memorabilia on the walls than grappling, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Flow Racing's pretty sick.
Whatever, man. I'm reminded that because we're jiu-jitsu guys, so I'm reminded, this is FloGrappling is just a part of the giant umbrella that is Flow Sports, so.
For sure.
It's kind of cool,
Yeah.
It's the coolest part.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say.
A1.
Dominate the cool
You
category.
guys used to have Flow Combat. I know Seamus Grady's been talking about trying to revive it. If you need a guy, listen. Flow Combat be sick.
Yeah,
honestly,
absolutely.
I feel like a real thing with Flow Combat is it's like hard because obviously we have to deal with the smaller, like more niche side of things. Mm-hmm. But it's like in MMA, you just go to the UFC. At a certain point, like it's like we could be locked in. Like take Cody Steele for example. We could be like following him, making Flow Combat stuff with Cody Steele, and now he's about to do Contender Series UFC, and then it's like boom, now we can't really access that as much. So that's a little slice of the real business side for all you viewers.
You build a star and then you lose them, so that's tough for combat.
Yeah, that's a tough part about MMA, that space, is because everybody knows unequivocally that the UFC is the pinnacle. Where I feel like jiu-jitsu, there is no pinnacle necessarily. There is a couple organizations that are the top of the heap, but I mean, as we're seeing with the current landscape of jiu-jitsu, there's several places that athletes want to go. But
you can claim
no secret, male or female, you want to go to the UFC.
For sure. You get Cody. I guess since it came up, Cody Steele is about to make his Contender Series debut, right? Is that?
I don't think it has been announced yet. I'm looking it up now, but he is definitely in the Contender Series. I think there's been a little bit of back and forth about who the opponent will be, but he will be in.
But he has a fight coming up. I thought I saw him saying some stuff about like can't wait to beat this dude up, which. Obviously Cody Steele, one of the coolest dudes as a jiu-jitsu fan, a grappling fan, one of the coolest dudes to watch on the MMA kind of circuit right now is like we're seeing a dude who came up here in Austin, Brazilian Fight Factory, through the jiu-jitsu ranks, and now is kind of about to see him break.
Haven't even seen him do jiu-jitsu in MMA yet.
I was about to say that. He's just knocking people out. He's abandoned us. He's forgotten about us.
True.
He's just knocking people out, man. He went to Thailand and actually became really influenced by, I think, just learning the striking aspect of it, and he grew quick in that arena, man. Mm-hmm. He got very good.
Well, I know Cody tells us too. He kind of grew up scrapping a little bit too. Kind of has that background where he got in some fights as a kid and stuff like that. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I feel like oddly, that's kind of. I'm not saying it's the best base, but it's a good base for ending up being a good MMA fighter. Is just having scraps from a young age.
Cheeto Vera talks about it too all the time, just getting into fights and stuff.
Dude, speaking of Cheeto Vera, we recently went to AOJ to meet up with Pato. We filmed a day in the life with Pato, so that'll be coming out soon. Pretty sick little day spending it with him. But part of it was he went and trained with Cheeto Vera. He did a grappling session with Cheeto Vera, so we got to roll up on Cheeto's Pulse, which is Cheeto's private little garage warehouse gym, and get to see Pato. Pato put the gloves on, and he was hitting the bag. He was like, "Yeah, get some cool shots of me hitting the bag." MMA is not off the table. I'm not gonna lie, probably not gonna do MMA. I saw him hitting the bag. He's Pato, stick to jiu-jitsu, brother.
He's killing it in the jiu-jitsu game.
Don't break my ankle, but I'm playing.
Don't break my leg. Don't
Stick to being like the best guy at jiu-jitsu, like overall.
Jake, what do you think about Pato?
What do I think about Pato in MMA or like generally?
I mean, he's had a pretty big year this year, right?
Oh, it's been incredible.
What
could I say? Yeah, what could I say? I mean, the guy is pretty much cemented himself. I don't think there's another athlete. I mean, Marigali is obviously in the conversation for that too, but he is actively winning in absolutely dominant fashion, gi and no gi, across any rule set, any opponent. It's incredible. I don't know what more I could say about the guy.
Yeah,
he's
having impressive.
And I don't even know if it's something that could be. He's only getting better. You know, it's not like other people are coming up and promoting like a new challenge. It's like he's just the sky's the limit for this kid, and it's really, really cool.
As kind of, you know, obviously you were a high level competitor for a long time. You know, like for people who don't know, how hard is that to do gi and no gi and kind of be at the top level? Because like you said, I mean, Pato going into these big no gi tournaments, he's like the guy. Going to these big gi tournaments, he's like the guy, and that doesn't happen too often.
Well, to put my career into perspective, when I was competing and I stopped really competing around like the pandemic, I was successful in the gi, and that was super, super difficult to even be moderately successful in the gi. The highest ranking I got was number 5 on the FloGrappling.
Yeah, you were all out there. I remember, man. I remember.
But in no gi, it's like you have to, especially nowadays, you have to be able to adopt a different mindset. It's no secret that competing ADCC way different than competing IBJJF. Maybe it used to feel, you know, different, but. Yeah. It is the landscape has changed so much. And so for me, I wasn't able to devote time to no-gi to be successful in the no-gi space. I committed myself to the gi. Pato is doing something where he is able to completely shift his mindset, completely shift his strategy for every single new event. It's not like he's taking months off to compete. He's competing all the time. He needs a whole new set of strategies for ADCC, just like the IBJJF, and he's able to be successful, and I think that he's very well-rounded in his approach. So I would say that it's my perspective on it is almost not even as helpful because I wasn't in the same landscape as him. Everything has changed. Everything has changed in the world of jiu-jitsu, and it's become something that is very, very competitive. Very, very competitive.
You know, like one thing, like talking about that difference in the landscape right now and everything, one thing I saw recently that I kind of had never seen before, you know, didn't know if I'd see is at AOJ with Pato, the class was split. You know, they kind of marked it off, and they had half the class doing no-gi, half doing gi. I was like, this is kind of a crazy thing to see, you know? Wow. It's like AOJ, like so dialed in on the gi, you know, the Mendez bros. Obviously, Hoffa has incredible ADCC runs and stuff. But then they had it roped or kind of marked off. So they had a no-gi session going alongside a gi session. In that session was Pato and Hoffa Mendez. That's the first time I've gotten to see Hoffa Mendez actually training there at AOJ. I know he's training a lot and stuff, but a lot of times, you know, he won't train when we're there. But Guy kind of hooked it up, got his brother to come. And watching Hoffa train and do jiu-jitsu is like the only way I can describe it is when Hoffa's training, there's no ounce of his being that is doing jiu-jitsu incorrectly. Mm-hmm. It's just everything is so dialed. Like there's no fat to trim off. It's just like so perfectly executed. It's kind of insane to see, and you kind of get why, you know, they call him the wizard and stuff. You know, it's like, this is incredible. Like I'm watching just magic happen right now. So that was really dope to see. But.
Did anything come to fruition about, I know that there were some people were like, whoa, look at Hoffa. He looks ripped right now. Yeah. And I know that was a few months back, but has anything come to fruition about that? Is there any inklings that maybe he'll compete again? Or I know that may sound really far-fetched, but yeah. I mean, the guy looks absolutely jacked.
That's part of the problem, Ray, is like we all want him to compete really badly. It looks like he could compete. He's such a perfectionist that I feel like if he gets back in, he's going to want to be like really, really dialed in, mm-hmm. which is not uncommon amongst most of these guys that like were champions. If they come back, they want to, you know, represent
like
a certain
George St. Pierre was just talking about that. I saw that, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure he's the same way. Yeah, where like if I come back, I don't want to just be some guy. I kind of want to be GSP again. I kind of would like to be Hoffa Mendez again. So it's tough to get these guys back on the mat in that way when they've achieved such a level of success.
Makes sense.
Right? Yeah, always such a treat whenever, I don't know if you've ever been to AOJ there, but like whenever Hoffa comes out on the mats, like for you know, for just jiu-jitsu fans, just being in the room and seeing Hoffa train, you know, the same thing with Marcelo and some of the you know OG guys. I don't see Guy train too much. Obviously, he's always on the mats and coaching and everything, but when Hoffa goes on the mats and the way he moves and everything, you're just like, God damn, that is the slickest jiu-jitsu I've ever seen.
Sure.
It's always just super fun when you get to see those guys train. What a treat.
Dude, he rolled up in a rash guard. Like, I saw him because like they have big windows. And I saw him walking. I was like, no way, dude. Is Hoff in a rashy right now? And he walked in, and I started getting all giddy, dude. I was like, we had Slack with us there filming. I was like going over to Slack. I was like, dude, I think he's gonna train, bro. This is try to film him. I don't know. Maybe we ask him. I don't know if he wants to be filmed, but this is crazy. I was getting all giddy, and then obviously we got to film all that. So we'll be dropping some stuff with Hoffa and Pato soon, a Pato day in the life as well, like I said. But we got a lot more cool stuff coming out. But first, let's talk about what you got going on. What kind of stuff is Jake Watson up to these days?
Well, dude, I'll be at ADCC. I've been commentating jiu-jitsu for the past 4 years, and really learning a lot about what the difference between play-by-play and color is. I've always really wanted to make commentary in my professional career. And this year I actually got the opportunity to become the play-by-play commentator for Invicta Fighting Championships on CBS Sports. It's a huge opportunity. Thank you. And ADCC is going to be huge. I'm still learning my roles and responsibilities on what's going to happen at the T-Mobile Arena, but I'm really, really excited for it. I'll be doing play-by-play there, I know for a fact, but I believe I might also be doing the post-fight interviews for the super fights, that was Kenny Florian's responsibility last time, but I am excited to be able to have that opportunity.
Big shoes to fill right there.
Oh, yeah.
Ken Flo.
For sure.
Ken Flo's a
and
ledge.
he's cool. And what's funny, I want to tell a story, actually. I had Kenny Florian. I used to have a podcast called the Open Guard Cast.
I was a listener.
You were a listener?
Yeah,
okay,
cool.
I am terrible at being consistent with a podcast, so it still exists. It still exists.
Yeah.
But it's also tough, and it's kind of discouraging when, like, I don't have a studio. I just had, like, a webcam on my face, and then I get, like, no views, and then maybe I'll get a comment that, like, doesn't like it. I'm like, oh, dude, like, the only person that felt like commenting was a hater. And
Danny used to be on it with you, right?
Danny was the reason the podcast was good, because so Danny got scooped up by the IBJJF. He can't do anything else but IBJJF stuff now, and that's why he commentates the Worlds with me. It's because it's an IBJJF production. So he can't even do his own podcast anymore, which is whatever. And he's one of my best friends, by the way, so I'm not upset with him. But I told Kenny on like an episode of the Open Guardcast, I said, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to commentate the biggest events in jiu-jitsu. I'm going to do it. And this is before I even got my first commentary opportunity. I was just so sure of it. And then at ADCC 2022, he was there, and I was like, hey, Kenny, do you remember when I told you on my podcast that I was going to be here? And he was like, actually, holy crap, I do remember that. And so now I'm going to tell him again and be like,
hell yeah.
I'm right here.
Now I took your job. What about it?
Well, no, I didn't take it.
What are you going to do about it?
Because he has to run the entirety of Flow Zone. So he has to be the commander of the entire ship. So it's actually, I think, harder than what I have.
And he did IBJJF Worlds a couple times back in the day as well.
Yes, yeah.
So.
Well, now keep in mind, he's also doing Battle Bots.
Yeah.
He's doing, I think he's
Sick
still doing
show.
PFL.
Sick show.
And he's got the Anik Florian podcast, which is one of the biggest podcasts in the entire combat sports world. So believe me, I'm not comparing myself to Kenny Florian by any stretch of the imagination. It's just nice that he is somebody I've been communicating with, and he's kind of been helping me and giving me advice on what to do. And so now I'm in that. And I commentate professional Muay Thai, and I'm looking to commentate professional boxing as well. But I ring announce who's number one now too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Out of all this stuff, what's your favorite thing to do in the media space?
Well, I really like commentary. I love commentary. I think commentating MMA is possibly in terms of what I have to do talent-wise, it's one of the easier ones because there's so much happening. Even a boring MMA fight, there's a lot to talk about. Boring, quote-unquote. But I think that, and this is no disrespect to gi jiu-jitsu at all, there are just some situations and circumstances where it's not as easy to commentate. I have to kind of
so nuanced.
Fill it with, well, it's nuanced, and I have to remember that not everybody that's watching it is a dedicated fan of the sport. That's one of the things that's easy about MMA. Someone gets clocked with the right hand,
You get
it's
it.
all over kind of deal.
Yeah.
And the jiu-jitsu doesn't have as many moments like that. And so it helps that as a play-by-play guy, I'm not just a broadcaster, but I am a jiu-jitsu black belt with experience competing. I think that's a nice niche that I kind of get to fill. But my favorite one, I think, is commentating MMA, but I have a very soft spot in my heart for ring announcing who's number one, actually. I really like ring announcing who's number one. That was a lot of fun when I got to ring announce Marigali versus Rocha, that entire fight card. And a lot of people liked it, actually. I was surprised. People, I didn't get torn apart on Reddit.
Yeah. Well, they love doing that, so you can't look too much into
I don't actually go on
kind of
Reddit
the
anymore.
It happens, but
Reddit is a blocked website in old Jake Watson life.
Yeah.
It's just never been good.
I feel that. I feel that as well for sure. But I guess just overall for you, because like you mentioned, you were a ranked guy in the competitive space, and now you've transitioned more so into just being a full-time media guy. What's that transition like from you from high-level competitor to media? I guess guys like us, it's like we knew it's like, I better get into media if I want to work in jiu-jitsu because I ain't tapping enough people. But you kind of had a little taste of both.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
So the pandemic hit, leading up to the pandemic, so I had just beaten Hudson Mateos and in Fight to Win. I don't know why he doesn't compete anymore.
Yeah, he was. I think he's esports
guy now.
One of the funnest dudes to watch as a brown
bro.
belt.
He was, and people leading up to that fight,
Kaios. Yeah,
people leading up to that fight told me, "Hey man, don't get your arm broken." I'm like, what kind of advice is that?
Don't get flower swept into
armbar, right?
Armbar.
And so my game plan going into the fight, and it's on YouTube. I don't know why Flo put it on YouTube. It's the most boring jiu-jitsu fight in the entire world, and I won, and I know.
You guys are brown belts?
Black belt.
Black belt.
This was black belt,
Okay.
and I had beaten. I was on a 5 or 4 fight win streak in Fight to Win, I think, or 3 fight. I beat Arnaldo Maidana. I beat Ronaldo Jr. And then I beat Hudson, and then I fought Pedro Mourinho and Mateus Luna. And so I was on a 5-fight win streak. I was doing really, really good. And then the pandemic hits, and I was supposed to fight Roberto Jimenez in a gi match on who's number 1. And I was like, all right, I'm gearing up. I feel good. I feel like I can beat Roberto this time. And then when the pandemic hit, everything shuts down. I'm in my house eating like non-perishable foods only for like a month and a half. I live with my parents again.
Don't remind
I'm depressed. Oh yeah, no, for sure. But I'm going to tell you, I was up until 4 a.m. every night playing video games and, waking up at 1. And I had this sort of like mindset where I needed to have something that I think was more secure for me. And I really wanted to compete. And even MMA wasn't completely off the table for me because I also competed in boxing and Muay Thai and kickboxing and everything. But once I started to pursue the jiu-jitsu commentary and everything like that, I started to really enjoy it. And I was still competing. I still did like pans and I lost and I did this and I lost and my heart wasn't in it anymore. The pandemic really changed my heart on competing jiu-jitsu. And then I did a couple ADCC Opens last year, and I didn't train for them at all. I just went out there and I did them, and I had some good matches, and so I kind of felt the fire come back a little bit. But with everything that's been happening, like I said, with Invicta, with all this, the growth that I've had in that career, it's hard for me to want to compete because I know that there is an element of competing that I have to be selfish for a period of time. That's one thing that a lot of athletes have to go through is they have to prioritize themselves. And now I have a beautiful wife. I have an 8-month-old son. I have so many things that are happening, ministry, all this stuff that I'm doing, and my heart's just not in it anymore, man. Like, I'm not saying I'm fully retired, but I'm definitely 80%. If there's a super fight that's interesting and, I can prepare for it and everything like that, I'll do it, but I just don't have the heart for it anymore, dude. I
just waiting for the Gordon match, huh?
Yeah.
The Gordon match? No, Gordon and I are cool now. So, funny story. Do you know that Gordon called me on his Instagram one time? He called me a low testosterone beta male. Dude, it was
least surprising.
So funny.
Sounds likely.
It was so funny because I went to the ADCC and I told him, "Do you remember when you called me that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Bro, that hit hard." He started laughing. It was after he beat Galvão, so he was like on cloud 9 in his Dragon Ball Z gear. And no, it was really, really funny. But Gordon, I actually,
in person, he's always really cool.
He's hilarious in person. But I'm not on social media right now as much, but. No, I like the guy. I think he's funny. I don't know. I try not to have any bad relationships with anybody in the community. I've made that mistake a few times,
That is something for people who've never met Gordon is if you only judge him by the things that he's writing online, if you met him in person, you'd be shocked because he is just a very different person, one-on-one compared to what he is broadcasting out on his social media.
Definitely.
Dude, the person who will roast you in person is actually Sunny. Gordon's girlfriend.
Yeah.
She'll flame you up, dude. I remember I was filming a video with them at Trader Joe's one time, and I was just just joking. I was like, "Hey, Sonny, if I start eating this stuff, am I gonna get Jack look like Gordon?" And she was like, maybe eventually, but for you, it's going to take a really long time. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Freaking, Sonny, I was kidding. I know I'm not going to look like Gordon. And then, but at the most recent Who's Number One, she saw me and she was like, you aren't looking quite as fat. You look like you've slimmed up a little bit. That's good. And I was like, thank you, Sonny. I appreciate it.
And that time you didn't even say hi. She just walks up to you and delivers the roast.
100%. So yeah, Sonny will flame you up. You got to be careful. But you kind of mentioned the ADCC Opens. Nothing will discourage you from wanting to, really dive in to the competition scene than going to an ADCC Open and having like 16-year-olds just like throwing people through tables and just relentless outside passing to make you go like, oh, maybe I want to chill, maybe I want to hang out a little more.
But yeah, and the thing going into the ADCC Open, so I went to Tijuana when they went to Tijuana, and
nice.
that was an event. It was like awesome. 90 degrees in the stadium. It's freaking crazy.
Is that a really early one? Like one of the?
I don't know. I went there to commentate, and then there was some production stuff, so there was no commentary, and it was just it was an event that the ADCC crew did everything they could to salvage what the people who should have prepared the venue didn't do. There was trash everywhere. There was the people who were supposed to bring all the equipment didn't bring the equipment. So it's just like, what the heck are we going to do, Yeah. But I went to Tijuana and I was like, oh, there's nothing to do. I'm going to go buy a rash guard and shorts and I'm going to ask if I can compete. So I went in and I fought Joey Balistreri from 10th Planet. He trains at 10th Planet San Diego. He's actually a really, really cool dude, by the way. Me and him had a good match, and then I lost to Dory Aoun. And that was for the third place
second
match.
round.
Yeah, Dory's so tough.
Well, that wasn't my. Actually, I lost to Sebastian Attard from Hensel Gracie Austin, but he lives in Australia. He's a really good dude too. He footlocked me in like 5 seconds, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is not a game."
Yeah.
I also competed at 88 kilograms, and I was in the plus 99 because I gained some weight. And well, we're not going to talk about that point though, Trey.
Don't tell Sonny.
I'm
not going to.
I've been there.
Listen,
bro.
Sonny could look at me dead in the face and say, You have gained weight. And I'd be like, yes, I have. And I don't plan on doing too much right now. No, I will lose weight. Back to what I was talking about. I went there and I competed. And after that tournament, I actually felt like, dude, if I just prepared a little bit and I trained a little bit, I think I could do really good at these. But it was Orlando when my gas tank was just, dude, I had no gas. I actually felt like my technique wasn't bad, but it's the gas that you need.
Yeah.
You need to be in such good shape at even these ADCC Opens, man.
Yeah.
Like, gi jiu-jitsu is hard for different reasons. You still need cardio, you still need to be in shape, but we have to be realistic and say, like, you can throw the lapel, you can throw lasso, you can slow the fight down. Dude, ADCC feels like I can't slow the fight down. I don't know how. I don't know what to do.
So sick.
Constant movement.
It's constant movement, and the people are very good at this style of jiu-jitsu. It's not anti-jiu-jitsu. It's almost like jiu-jitsu at a distance. They can push on the hips and post and frame and move out of the way, leg pummel, and it feels like you never have control over them. And they're not like backing away from you. It's like they're circling and putting pressure in the entire time. Galvao has been doing that forever. Mm-hmm. But now people are getting really good at it. And I felt that, and I was like, this is ridiculous, dude. I don't ever want to do this again. This is ridiculous.
That's kind of like the camping type of stuff people talk about now, like finding those weird positions where you can kind of leverage your body and put like weird pressure where it's like they're kind of carrying the weight and feeling the force like. More so. But
and you don't realize that like the better you become at jiu-jitsu, like the worse your cardio becomes. You don't have
to do as much.
Yeah, like the better your technique is, then like the less you're using your cardio. Mm-hmm. So you really got to like have something to test your cardio, to push your cardio, because when you get better at jiu-jitsu, you're testing your cardio kind of less and less almost.
Well, look at
We've all spent enough time in knee shield waiting for the round to end.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, I played single leg X, and I came up with whole systems to have to do as little as possible until I wanted to sweep, because that was what I did in the gi. And I could wrap the lapel around the foot. When they broke that, I'd wrap the other lapel around my leg, and I would just kind of stay and burn some time off the clock. My philosophy was I only wanted to do 5 minute of a 10-minute match. If I could do 5 minutes of a 10-minute match, and hey, like people are probably going to go, dude. You
shouldn't say out loud though, Jake.
No, I do not care. Because here's the thing.
I'm kidding.
In when I was competing, I was going against people whose they were doing like more cardio work than I was doing, and a lot of the things that I struggled with in my career was I wasn't very good about dieting. I wasn't very good about doing extracurricular cardio work. Like, look at the Tackett Bros. Those guys are good enough to chill out, but they don't.
Yeah.
And so they're
running bleachers.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's this mix of like good enough jiu-jitsu to completely mitigate somebody and yet better cardio than the person they're fighting. So they have this sort of gridlock around all the different things that they need. They're in great shape. I mean, Andrew Tackett, that guy throws up after like every single match because he's able to output a crazy amount more energy than a lot of the competitors he goes against. Plus, he's got great technique. Plus, William Tackett, the same thing. And I didn't have the work ethic for it, man. And I have the work ethic for like broadcasting and to just continually push myself. Dude, I'm networking with people, and I'm not even kidding you. Probably 7 or 8 different people per week sometimes, where I'm just trying to think about the next opportunity. I'm consistently studying and getting reps in. I have the the interest and the passion to do broadcasting and everything like that. But I just don't have that same interest for jiu-jitsu anymore. And when I look at these athletes and what they're doing, I'm like, dude, it would take a complete life transformation for me to put myself back in that arena the way that I would need to in order to even be competitive. And that's the level of jiu-jitsu that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, we just went to Atos, actually. We were just out there in San Diego. We were seeing Kynan and Felipe Pena is out there and stuff like that. And actually, this will be my like 5th kind of ADCC that I've like gone to the camps and stuff like that. And just like seeing Kynan and Felipe going through their 5th, 6th ADCC camp. You're like, man, these guys have really been running themselves in the dirt for a long time now, and like it wears on the body. It does, not to say that they showed any wear or anything like that. They look
they look so dialed.
Yeah, they look like murderers and they look incredible and everything like that. But just to see them year after year going through those camps where they're going against Kynan, Felipe, Andre, and everybody's just throwing the kitchen sink at each other, Perez and stuff. It's just like, man, like their bodies are taking a beating for these huge shows and for these, for the fans and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't see that, but year after year, it's intense.
Oh yeah, there is like an element of athleticism that is resiliency, right? Your ability to, it's like a football player. Okay, not a lot of people, but some people can play in a football game, but then you got to turn around and do it next week. And next week, and next week. Yeah. And these jiu-jitsu guys too. Man, how many guys are coming off of a gi season that was super grueling for a lot of these guys? Mika's a good example. His body got all beat up during the gi season. Oh, yeah. He's turning it right around. And did every tournament, won every tournament, turn it right around and coming into ADCC is wild.
It is hard. Yeah. You forget that jiu-jitsu is hard.
For sure. Like it just is like physically painful.
Yeah.
You're pushing hard and stuff.
Like no matter what, getting smashed as a white belt, as a black belt, like no matter what, getting smashed sucks. Yeah. Like that's brutal, And like if you're training every day with the best in the world, some days you get smashed, some days you kill everybody, but.
Dude, to Joe's point about like the resiliency side of things and like football players and stuff. So I don't know if everyone knows this, but I was a JUCO product. Or I played JUCO football, so I got that dog in me. First of all, but second of all, this is no offense to anybody who has really good cardio, but it was always the dumbest dudes who were the best at like hard cardio sessions. I swear,
guys who kind of forgot to be tired.
Like, dudes who would be like, "What's your major?" and they're like, "Football." It's like those types of dudes always kind of the most dogs when it came to just hard training sessions. So no offense to anybody out there who has really good cardio, but if everything's not clicking upstairs, if everything isn't firing on all cylinders, then it's just like you don't know you're supposed to be tired. Like you're just running and you're kind of dumb, so you mess up the drill, and coach is like, "We're starting over from the top," and I'm freaking honors graduate, valedictorian, so I'm dead, of course. Not because I had bad cardio, because I'm too smart. Oh, yeah, dude.
You were the valedictorian?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Trey
I need to know that that's real,
That's real.
It's going to affect how I talk to you from now on.
Columbus Unified High School, valedictorian.
It just says more that
graduating class
no
of 18
one
people.
believes you when you say that you were the valedictorian.
Doesn't matter to me, dude. Doesn't matter.
I just didn't expect the guy who opened up the sentence with, "I got that dog in me," first of all. I didn't expect that to be the valedictorian.
Well, that's because I'm a JUCO product.
That's true.
I'm a valedictorian who went to JUCO.
At my high school, I swear I think he's a robot. Like he's a robot.
Yeah, there's like 12 kids in Trey's high school.
There was not an outdated personality installed into him or something like that, man.
First of all, there were not 12 kids in my high school. There were 90, all right? And second of all, I didn't pick where I was born and raised. I was just put in a situation and I became the best, all right, dude? That's something you could learn about.
I didn't pick a small pond that I happened to be.
Hey, I know.
I'm learning a lot about you guys.
Yeah.
So where were you born?
I was born in Columbus, Kansas. Columbus, if you're
There's a Columbus in Kansas?
Yeah.
There's like 50 Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus is a very popular name. I think due to Christopher would be my guess. But
my guy.
Yeah.
Took land by force.
Yeah, it's messed up.
We celebrate him.
Yeah, Columbus.
We celebrate him in this house. He's an Italian hero.
He's an Italian hero?
Yeah.
For Columbus?
Columbus, Kansas, 3,000.
America, Joe.
3,000 population, Columbus Unified High School. 90 students in my class. I think we ended up more around 80. We lost some to teen pregnancy. But, yeah. Valedictorian, you know what I'm saying? JUCO product, win scholarship, JUCO product. So everyone watching at home, drop a comment. Let me know if you're a JUCO dog or, if you just wish you were. So those are only two options.
Well, now we know. Now we know all about Trey.
But my point, though, is that Yeah, dumb guys are good. Dumb guys are good at cardio. They literally don't know they're supposed to be tired.
So put the pace on Trey.
Yeah, put the pace on me, dude. I got bad cardio. I like jiu-jitsu because you can lay down. Yeah, that's the only reason. My cardio's not actually bad.
Smart for cardio.
I'm too smart. My brain's like, no, dude, you're actually physically tired.
All right, let's talk about ADCC.
I was about to say, speaking of cardio.
Yeah. All right, so we pulled some brackets. Joe recently did some seeding predictions for ADCC. Now, these are complete predictions. We don't know the actual seeds. We don't know what the bracket's going to look like. All of that will be decided by Mo and ADCC, and it probably won't come out until like the day before where there's a bracket reveal and all of that. So these are completely predictions from us based on some of the things we kind of know of how ADCC likes to kind of, seed people in certain aspects, like how teammates have to fight in the second round, all of that. So let's pull up the 66 kilogram bracket. And just take a look here. Joe, talk us through this. What's kind of like the key points of this seeding and why you pulled it up or pulled it this way like you did?
Let's do it. This is up on the site. People can find this on our Instagram. It's on the site in an article form where we kind of break it down as well. Me, Corey, and one of our Brazilian correspondents, Arthur, all did a bracket. This is mine. To me, I think the 1 seed is kind of inarguable here. It's Baby Shark. He's the returning champion. He's the only guy who's won this bracket before. And I think that you just roll through the medalists for the top 3 especially. Silver medalist last time was Gabriel Souza. I gave him the 2. Pato is the 3 seed for me. For the 4 seed, this is where things start to get a little bit interesting, right? Because Kennedy Maciel is a former silver medalist. That's very meaningful in 2019. And he has a teammate, Fabricio Andre, that they have to face off no later than the second round. Those guys are both so high level that I thought it was appropriate to give them the 4 and the 5 and drop Josh Cisneros down to the 6 seed.
One thing I think Mo has made statements on this too is he has like a range of seeds. Like, I don't know, I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's like 6 through 10 or 4 through 10 or something where he's like, this little block is interchangeable. These guys are all kind of like moved around. It's more so like trying to predict or trying to get good matchups we haven't seen, no repeats, that kind of thing. So there's different things at play where it's not like the most traditional like 1 through 10. This is the best guy. This is the worst guy in the bracket. It's like there is some wiggle room. Weird stuff involved.
66 is so deep, though. This is such a deep weight class. Like, so sick.
Absolutely. Something we have to watch out for is we know that Kawhi Gabriel is going to be probably in that 8-9 matchup because he's teammates with Baby Shark. Ultimately, there weren't that many teammate matchups. That might be it for this. And then, it was just kind of plug in who's a good guy, who would be good matchups for each other. Ethan Krellinston at the 8. If he beats Kawhi, he would have Baby Shark second round. We've never seen that. I think that would be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, that's an awesome match.
Fabricio Andre, Keith Krikorian, very first round, I think is a lot of fun. I think Baby Shark versus Zhu is probably the matchup to look out for that 116. And I like Josh Cisneros versus Owen Jones in that 6'11 matchup. I think that they're both kind of each other's bad style matchup, and I think that that's going to create a lot of fun. And then from the second round on, this is nothing but bangers.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I feel like I haven't seen too much of Josh Cisneros.
No, I think he took a break
in the last 2 years.
He just won a fight to win, right?
Oh, did he?
He did just beat Joao Mendez in fight to win.
Like literally last weekend or
weekend. That's good. That's a good sign that he's getting back out there and trying to do some warm up competitions because that's always tough. It'd be tough.
He's had a lot of lower body issues, right? And I kind of feel bad because I do have him with Pato here, and we know what happens when Pato and Josh, get on the mat together. Usually it ends with Josh.
Josh and Pato have fought 15 times.
Yeah, and
never in
80.
80.
It was a tough match.
It was the bronze medalist match last time, so that's not ideal. That could get moved around a little bit, but I think that somebody that's really interesting to watch in this bracket out of the 7, as I have him, would be Dorian Olivares. I have a match of North American Trials champs first round. I think that would be a lot of fun, and then winner takes on Gabriel Souza. And Gabriel, he's had obviously a lot of ADCC success. But silver medalist, but he's coming off the loss to Mikey. He's had a couple losses. So I think that would be a really, really interesting second round matchup.
What do you think, Jake? Is there anything you think could be moved around? Or how do you see this kind of bracket?
I'm not very good at seeding.
Yeah.
Just what do you want to see?
More of a standing guy.
You know what? I think that so one thing that I'm thinking about, because in my research, Mo has charged me with the task of learning ADCC history as much as I can.
Sweet.
And that's a tall order, right? But
Give us a tidbit. Give us a tidbit.
You watched
Well,
2009.
there has never
2011.
been in this 66 kilogram division history. There has never been a non-Brazilian champion.
Yeah, the only division, right?
Only division where it has been Brazilian every single time. What I'm looking at here,
USA. Let's get it going, boys. USA.
So we're rooting for Josh Cisneros?
well, what I'm saying is there's an
Kennedy count
there's
as an
so
American?
many,
No.
there's so many people all the way across the board. I mean, we have Ash Williams, who's an amazing competitor.
Yep.
Really, really good. I think him versus Pato first round's pretty interesting. I like that you have a good spread of like 1 taking on 16, of course 2 taking on 15, and so on and so forth. I think Ethan Krenlinson is very, very well rounded for this bracket. I actually really like him in any bracket that he's in. He always does a very, very good job.
I think he's a sneaky tough matchup for Diogo. I think the later and longer that match goes, I think Diogo probably has a little bit better cardio maybe, but I think that early on I could really see Ethan doing a lot of good work, potentially finding the back. He's so big for this weight
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the more physical guys for sure for the weight class.
I do think that these are because I'm looking at Keith Krikorian as well, and I'm thinking, man, Keith Krikorian at 12th. But then I look at the people underneath him in terms of seating. I'm like, dang, they're all really good too, though.
And again, that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's the 12th best guy.
No.
It's partly just matchups.
There's a couple matches.
But this is perhaps, I mean, this is definitely top 3 most stacked divisions at ADCC this year.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
And it's
This one's hard to call.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you had to pick somebody, if let's say the bracket comes out and it's set up this way, who are you guys looking at? Like, okay, this guy has a good draw. This guy, is going to make a deeper run than maybe who's like the low seed if it were set up this way.
Oh, I think Diogo if it was set up this way, Diogo has a great bracket, in my opinion. I think Diogo is very, very difficult to do stuff to, and that's one of his strongest characteristics as an ADCC champ is how many times was a truly like meaningful offensive move used on him, even in the trials. Do you remember in the trials when he had Diego Pato's back and he just let go?
Yeah, it was
and Diego
weird.
was super confused, and then he did it again.
Yeah.
And then I think he even did it in the final on Gabriel Souza, didn't he? Like in the final of ADCC. So he is a very, very good strategist, I think, for this rule set. I don't remember the last time I saw Diego Hayes put in a really, really bad spot when he was
Against
in the final.
Pato, I guess.
Pato
Yeah,
was
with
number one.
WNO.
But that's who's number one. So that was recent. So we could definitely take that into consideration. But if it's set up like this, he won't see Pato till the final.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that if it's set up this way, Diogo Hayes has a good bracket to make it to the final. Not withholding Fabricio Andres, super. He's one of those guys that one mistake could be the entire match as well.
Love to see the rematch between Baby Shark and Fabricio now that they're not teammates too, to be honest.
It does add an element of like interest there, intrigue.
There's a little bit of heat. I don't know.
There's absolutely some heat.
Seems like it a little bit.
I mean, Fabricio could just be, second round with Kennedy. There's a little bit of heat. Semifinals with Baby Shark, there's heat. Who knows we get to the finals.
This bottom side, though, it is a little crazy, bro. Like Gabriel Souza, you got Dorian in the mix, who's just like the ultimate young wild card guy. Pato, Josh Cisneros, Owen Jones. Like, I kind of agree with you, Jake, and like about like the upside. Like, I could see some paths for a few of these guys, but the bottom side, I'm kind of like, what the freak is going to happen here, dude? Like,
my eyes are on Dorian, and here's why.
Yeah.
After seeing what he did at West Coast Trials to veteran black belt like Gianni Grippo and what he did to everybody and just the pace he's able to put on, it's not saying that he's going to go out there and he's just going to make it happen. But I'm saying that I think a lot of people are going to be watching. I think a lot of people are going to be like, all right, let's see what this kid can do here on the biggest stage in the world.
Now he's training with the New Wave guys here in Austin. So.
Yeah. Oh, he's training with New Wave? I thought he was training with PT.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
It's kind of
He's a
bouncing.
real Ronin type, moves around.
Got you. Ronin.
there's a lot of mystery with Dorian, because really when it comes down to it, like I guess his actual home base is like his garage, right? Like his garage with his dad. So I don't know. I wish there's obviously we're running out of time. I think by the time this comes out, there's what like
2 weeks,
24 days.
Yeah, this will come out on Monday, so
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
yeah, like
3 weeks.
20 days, something like that.
Not very many days, so hopefully we have enough time, maybe see him or something. We're trying to get him on the podcast. We're trying to figure out a time, but just a lot of mystery with Dorian. Like I just want to know what's that kid doing, what's going on. How's he preparing for this? I'm sure he's preparing very well. I know he's going to bring a lot of cardio. Not saying he's stupid. I don't know. I'm kidding. I got no idea.
Smart kid.
Yeah,
he seems like a smart kid.
He does.
I do like the way that, like, let's say the bracket turns out this way. I think DeAndre is a tough puzzle to solve, and he's got the cardio for it as well. But that being said, if Dorian's able to get past him, I think that he matches well.
Yeah,
matches up well with Gabriel Souza because Gabriel's not really a leg locker. He's not really a guard player as much.
Wrestle with him.
He's going to wrestle, and
guy.
if Dorian is it's going to be wrestler versus wrestler. I think I still got to give the edge to Dorian, you know, and then how the other side of the bracket plays out is probably going to be Diego Pato.
I agree though that DeAndre and Dorian, that's kind of a bad matchup for each other there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of we're talking a lot about how Fabricio, if he faces Baby Shark, obviously that's a little bit of a grudge match. I don't know grudge match, but former
It's just an
teammates.
interesting match.
It's just an interesting match.
Some tension there.
But I don't know if we're talking enough about Kennedy Maciel's ability to win this bracket. I think that Fabricio is a very winnable match for him. I think that he's shown the ability to pull matches out late. Fabricio fades a little bit. Is that going to be something? And then him versus
You think
Diogo.
Kennedy's scared?
Yeah.
He ain't scared of nobody.
Ooh, he did that.
Kennedy also did go to the finals, and he only lost to Tanquinho.
I think every time Kennedy comes out, everybody in the audience should do this. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like that should be Kennedy's kind of like
You see that?
new
You see
thing.
that video we
No.
posted on our Instagram at Worlds across the mat? It was Kennedy over on like whatever mat, like 6, Fabricio on the other side, and Kennedy I think he gets a submission or he wins a match, and he's like looking over at Fabricio. Fabricio's kind of looking back, and because they would meet in like a round or two, and Kennedy hits him with the "Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots," and Fabricio hits him back with he did something.
Yeah,
back.
he's pointing at the ground.
It was like holy shit,
cool.
dude! I don't know what's going on.
While Kennedy's on the mat still from just
Hasn't gotten his
winning.
hand raised yet.
Yeah, hasn't got his hand raised. He looks over at Fabricio and he's like, "Ooh, you think I'm scared?"
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Hit him with the shaking in my boots, and Fabricio hit him back with the freaking right here, right now, pal.
That is awesome.
That was sick. So,
And then it didn't hit. It didn't.
Yeah,
And then the match didn't happen.
They hit here. They could hit here.
but yeah, so
Nothing materialized.
But yeah, I think Kennedy, in a wrestling match with Diogo, I think he can do a lot of good stuff. And then if it hits the finals against maybe like a Pato, you got to remember when Pato gets to the finals, he's going to have to figure out the guard pull, right? He is not a wrestler. So that is something that is going to limit him a little bit here. And he's going to have to overcome if he wants to be an ADCC
now listen, Pato told us. He said this very directly to me. He said, "Hey, you guys are always talking about me not being a wrestler and me pulling guard." He said, "I just haven't wrestled." He said, "I'm not a wrestler. He's like, I've just never had to do it." So you might be Joe might be shaking in his boots whenever Pato gets out there hitting super ducks, and
He's going to do the ADCC shot into guard pull.
So I'm team Pato might be a wrestler, dude. So you hear that, Pato? I support you, brother. Don't freaking break my ankle, because listen, I'm not gonna hit you with this. I am shaking in my boots.
You know,
you're a wrestler now, huh?
One thing I want to say about this bracket too that I think I got to keep in mind, and we got to kind of not get too big for our britches, is
Good check right there.
Well, it's just such a freaking competitive bracket. I mean,
Anybody could win.
No, that's the best.
it's not necessarily that anybody could win.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that DeAndre Corbet is. I mean, these guys do have. You said they have that dog in them. They have that dog in them, and so dude,
familiar
Ashley
with
Williams is very, very good competitor. He is
No, that-
smart competitor.
That's the best part about ADCC, right?
Yeah,
it's like
it's awesome.
any one of these guys, 16 dudes, are all elite. So it's like, yeah, it's really true. Anyone.
Keith
of these-
Krikorian. I mean,
Yeah,
he's had
yeah.
Cinderella
This is
stories
what-
before.
I think Kawhi
This is
Gabriel's really
third-
underrated.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a good draw because of Diogo, but Kawhi is somebody that can absolutely go with a lot of these guys. He's very unknown compared to most of these guys, but he's a killer.
And Josh Cisneros, I mean, he has also been on the map. When he was competing a whole lot, I think we were talking about him a lot more, but we can't just not talk about him. He's also very, very good.
This is Keith's gonna be Keith's third ADCC. I'm pretty sure third.
Is it? I thought it was going to be his second because he
2019.
He was in 2019.
2022, and
Oh, yeah,
this is
2019.
third.
Oh, yeah, because he
Fought
fought
Buchecha.
Buchecha first round. Yeah, I remember
So it's like that does matter a lot. The ADCC experience. I think it's hard to go out your first ADCC, and win. Obviously people have done it, but to get a couple ADCCs under your belt, then I feel like these guys usually have their breakout moments.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
We're going to look at 3 of these today. This is 66. We're going to look at 77 and 88. So let's go ahead and pull up the 77 kilo bracket.
The most stacked division.
Yeah,
This
for
was
sure.
the most stacked one. This was also probably like the hardest to seed, if I'm being honest. I know it's up on the screen for everybody at this
There we go. We got it.
I think returning silver medalist Mika is your obvious number 1 seed. What made this tricky, to be honest, was there's a lot of teammate matchups that have to be accounted for. There's New Wave, there's Pedigo Adamas has to be accounted for with Dante and those guys. There's Alliance. So we're going to go through it, right? For the 2 seed, and I'm willing to get pushback on this, I went with JT Torres. He's won 2 out of the last 3 ADCC World Championships. He lost last time in the quarterfinals to PJ, so I think there's definitely an argument to have him behind PJ. at potentially the 5. But if I put him at the 5, then it's just a rematch with PJ in the quarterfinals. I don't think ADCC is going to want to do that. I think he's still accomplished so much that a 2 seed makes a lot of sense for him. Then I went with returning bronze medalist Dante at the 3 and returning 4th placer PJ at the 4. Wagner has medaled at this weight class several times, medaled at 88 last time. I put him behind PJ. You could put him in front of PJ. Ultimately, I think they're both the 4 and the 5. So that's kind of the same. Then I went with the next 2 guys also could kind of be interchangeable. 2015 champion Davi Ramos, Gary Tonnen, who has medaled and has been a lot more recently active in ADCC. I ultimately gave it to Gary at the 6, Davi at the 7, and things kind of filled out from there with fun matchups. Luis Paulo at the 8, his teammate Fabio Colloy of Alliance at the 16, Mateusz Szczynski at the 9. I think that's a really interesting matchup. First round with Luis Paulo and potentially second round with Mika. And things just kind of filled in from there. What do you guys think?
I think I would switch Elijah with Max, and I would put.
Well, you have to keep Dante with Max because they have to face off no later than the second round.
Okay,
because they're teammates.
I guess
here we go, baby. Here's the complexity.
Is that the seeding like this?
They must do that. Yeah, and then Oliver and Gary have to be in the same quarterfinal, and I don't know if Davi and Jonatas are technically considered teammates. They're both kind of Atos.
Well, this was like last year was the first year, right, where they let JT not be Atos. They split JT and Cade, so they did move him to Essential. So I don't know. I feel like
runs Atos Rio.
Yeah, but there's kind of like the rumbling of like if these dudes aren't training in the same gym, then it's like different.
It's different. That's why I'm not sure.
Like I said, though, we're completely predicting using what we think. This isn't like we don't actually know. We have no insider info on this.
Even if they're not teammates, I think Davi and Jonatas is a great first round matchup, and I think it makes a lot of sense at the 7 and the 10.
Yeah. I guess the only reason I was saying is because Elijah did win the trials, and I think Max got.
He got 4th, yes. If you were to talk about it in
like a strict seeding sense, that I guess I totally forgot the ADCC you got to fight second.
Elijah at the 12 very much is, let's make a fun match with him and Wagner first round.
Cool.
Do you think, so going off what you're thinking though, because that does check out, like Elijah obviously won. Do you think it would make a big enough difference to also go ahead and move Dante up to that side and move someone else out? Like do you move PJ, I guess, back down, and then potentially who would that be? PJ Taza? I guess you could just move it like that. I don't know.
That is a possibility.
PJ Taza, and then do
Wagner Max, and then Dante Hobinho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be.
That being said, I understand.
But then you set up a second round match that's a rematch of the last ADCC where Dante tapped out PJ. I was trying to avoid that. There's also there's a ton of rematches here that I'm trying to stay away from at least a little.
I think it's a crazy game.
I think this is well done. It's a well done bracket.
Mateusz Szczynski versus Mika Galvao potential quarterfinal. That's an interesting match.
That's a super interesting match,
an interesting
right?
one,
We saw Mika, have straight ankle lock problems.
A couple boogeymen right there, you know.
Mateusz Szczynski, that guy's no fun. I was in Turkey for AIGA. And this dude went out there.
No fun.
Everybody. No, he is no fun. Bro, not a smile, no excitement, nothing. He just goes out there like a hitman, bro.
He was hitting you with the Polish smile?
Dude, no, he didn't even, like, I wanted to, like, go up.
That's the Polish smile.
Oh, really? Is that just not even? I'm Polish.
Dom, our photographer, Boro Jitsu on Instagram, he told us one time, he was like, oh, it's the Polish smile. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
That does make sense. But, no, I think that Mateusz Szczynski is a very, very intense competitor, and he's locked in. I see him as a dark horse in the bracket for sure. I mean, he took out William Tackett first round last time ADCC. I saw him go against really good competitors.
That was off like a week's notice too. That was him coming in super late notice.
And it's like his game is no secret really. Yeah, you know, it's like he's
well rounded too though. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. It's not just leg locks. Like
I was gonna say there is some secret to his game because I don't think people realize how good he is with like a Choi bar or like some of these other moves. Like
his back takes are good too. I saw him do like a no-gi Berimbolo in Turkey and he's turn around to a back take choke. Ankle. Oh, and it wasn't even a choke. This is why I say he's no fun. It was like this, and he squeezed the dude's face so tight it went purple. And I'm like, this guy's getting choked here.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't even a face crank. It was like, this guy cannot breathe. He is getting suffocated. Crazy. Oh, it is. And he didn't even smile. Like I said, he wasn't even excited to do it.
We have a video dropping featuring Mateusz. It also features, I believe, Sentiri There's a few guys. They're doing their kind of like European secret camp. They call it secret camp, where a lot of the ADCC guys meet up at a certain place. I think they were in Madrid at Centauri's gym. And so if you want to see a little more about Mateusz and how he's training and a few of those other guys like Centauri, some other ones in the mix, that'll be dropping. I think it's already on FloGrappling. It's going to be on our YouTube. By the time you watch this podcast, it'll be on YouTube. So check that out. But definitely some interesting guys. Another guy we talked to and saw recently is PJ. Dude, PJ looks good.
Such a big
another guy who can just he's huge. It's such good wrestling.
Got the experience,
wrestling.
the ADCC experience now.
Kind of had his run, so he knows what it feels like. Talking to him, he talked a lot about just at that time it was he was so stoked to be at ADCC, which is obviously
just
a real
to be
thing.
there.
Yeah, it's you kind of feel all right, I checked it off the box. I'm here at ADCC, but now he's I did that. I had a taste of it. I had a good run. He ended up honestly was kind of doing very well against Cade in that match before Cade does what Cade does, and wins in fantastic fashion. Yeah. But now he's he's very locked in on now it's about getting it done, having the run, making the finals, getting the win, obviously. So PJ's a guy that for sure I'm excited to watch.
Huge for PJ, man. I'd be so sick for PJ if he
certainly
won ADCC. It'd be crazy. Hell yeah.
Well, he's certainly in a spot where he's one of the guys that everybody's looking at. I mean, I think it's very realistic to put him even top 4 seed for sure. And I think that ever since that ADCC performance, keep in mind, he was the first person to score on JT Torres in 10 years of ADCC competition.
Seeing him take down JT was
takedown of the tournament.
Not just takedown, clean takedown.
Takedown of the tournament.
Takedown to side control,
for
4
sure.
points,
I think it won takedown of the tournament, right? Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, it was a beautiful double leg. And I remember being there
I think
commentating.
Marigali won.
There's no way that just happened.
Yeah.
No way. There's no way it just happened. But I actually, one person I really like in this bracket, and I think is somebody that we got to pay attention to, is Jonatas Gracie.
I was going to bring him up.
That guy, dude, he's
especially at 77.
He's a problem.
He's gonna be a big dude.
I have heard people say that he is pound for pound the strongest guy in the entire Atos gym.
Everyone says that, dude. It's crazy.
Pound for pound, people say.
In that
That's
gym.
not even a debate.
Oh,
yeah. In a gym with where everybody's the strongest guy. If they were to go to a different gym, everybody there would be the strongest guy in that gym.
I competed against him in the finals of the Pan No Gi in 2019
Back to back, right?
at black belt.
Oh, no.
And he head control guard passed me in no gi. He just hugged my head and engaged his bicep, and I couldn't push him away from me. I was like, this is ridiculous. There's he's grabbing a grip on my back,
Who's do you have top 3 strongest guys you've trained with? Do you have a
trained with or fought?
Or fought, yeah.
Devontae Johnson
Okay.
Makes sense.
was
I also
ridiculous.
fought him. He was quite strong.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jonatas Gracie, definitely. And I want to say Kynan, because Victor Hugo's not he's as strong as you think he'd be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not like a
fair.
super strong dude.
Strong is for a big.
But Kynan, when I fought Kynan in purple belt, I fought him a number of times. It was always dude, how? How is this possible? You know what I mean? But Devontae was ridiculous because he is actually the only time where I felt like I actually could, even if I had an idea, I would not be able to do it because he was so strong. He did a double underpass, grabbed, sucked my hips in, turned me over, took my back, and choked me, and I had nothing I could say about it.
That's crazy. It's always interesting to hear, who those elite strong guys are. I'm on Reed's list for his top 3 strongest dudes. He's felt these grips.
Hey, bro, that's because if you're not gonna be smart, you
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I'm kidding. All right. So
we got some good Canada on Canada violence there too. Dante versus Taza.
Yeah.
That's a good kind of
That's a very Canada quarter, right? Just Gary in there repping for Team USA.
Yeah, true. Max Hansen, also a Canadian.
Oh, true.
Somebody to point out, just because
yeah.
I think he's not getting a lot of shine heading into ADCC, Luis Paulo, right? He's
Luis
a super underrated guy. I think that I kind of have him seated here to face Mika potentially second round. He does know Mika. They've trained together. But Luis is just a super underrated guy, gets it done in gi, gets it done in no gi, had a great trials run where I think he beat Robinho. If not, then he at least beat the guy who beat Robinho. And I think that he is just so talented, and we haven't really had a chance to talk about him. But here we go.
Wagner too.
Wagner
we haven't talked
too.
about Wagner.
Sure.
Wagner at 77 again for the first time in a while.
That's a big 77
He's a
as well. Him and PJ is a lot of 77 on the mat together if they make it that far.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's going to have a lot of young guys here. I have him against Elijah, but there's going to be a gang of young guys who are looking to take out Wagner Hocha, who is so well built for an ADCC style rule.
Yeah.
100%.
Hard to do anything too.
Let's go ahead and bounce up to the division Wagner's dropping down from 88. Check out that bracket real quick and see what we got going on here. Obviously, I mean, I don't know. We always talk about this. Every division at ADCC is obviously sick. This one is no exception. It too is super sick. So what do you kind of just give us a quick keynotes, Joe, of like what the rundown is here. You don't have to go through every single.
I won't go through everything. Top 2 seeds are the only 2 guys to ever medal at this weight: returning champion Bodoni and 2019 bronze medalist Hinger. I went with Mourinho at the 3. After that, it starts to become a lot more of a choice. Mourinho at the 3 because he's so tough, has a win over Bodoni, so I want him on the other side because I think that would make for a good final. For the 4, I went with Isaac. I think based off the wins he's had, he's probably the 4th best guy in this bracket, and things kind of trickled out from there. I do want to point out, if I were to make this, I made this like maybe a week ago. If I were to do it again, I would probably change things around where I don't have Hinger and Gabriel Almeida first round. They met first round in 2019, so there's no way they do that again. I would probably flip Elder and J-Rod at the 6 and the 7, which would also move Gabriel Almeida and Chris Wojcik, who are both teammates of those guys, into each other's positions. So if I were to remake the bracket, I would do that. That's on me. As far as teammate matchups, I think that's kind of it, is those 2 checkmat guys and the 2 B-team guys.
Josh actually, I don't know, Josh was kind of wondering aloud because he said that he think Andre Porfirio is going to be representing Atos at
really?
At ADCC. So he was kind of wondering aloud if he was going to have to fight Andre kind of first or second round or not.
If so, then that'll be the case. I feel like they're pretty likely to put teammates as like for the quarterfinal, not first round. You know what I mean? So it'll be like the second person you fight.
Yeah, they really only go first round, right? If there's just too many guys.
There's 3 of you. Yeah,
3 or 4.
This is an interesting bracket, man.
So yeah, this
really
is going to be
this one's wide open.
Wide open as well.
Oh, that's why I like it.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah.
You know, I like
obviously
the bracket
Giancarlo, but
being broken open like that. You know, and I don't know. There's obviously, goes without saying, there's been a lot of stuff happening in the
a lot of churn out of this division.
A lot of stuff,
and also just guys not coming back and guys retiring and guys stepping down. I
going
think
to different divisions
like Wagner. Somebody I think can make a deep run here. I have him here first round against Isaac is Ryan Aitken. I have him kind of low because he lost to Chris Wojcik at West Coast Trials, and he didn't place top 4 at either of the trials, but everybody knows that he's super tough. He beat Big Dan recently. He's had some really good wins. He's beaten Jacob Couch at an ADCC Open in the past.
Was that at EBI he beat Big Dan?
It was, yeah. Okay. And then, he's just had some amazing wins, so don't be surprised if he's a guy who ends up making a nice run in this bracket. Elder Cruz down from 99 here at 88. Is obviously going to be a force. J-Rod, I think, can be super, super tough in this bracket. Here I have him kind of plugged in for a second-round rematch with Mourinho, which I think would be really interesting to see where they've gone in the last 2 years. And then Jacob Couch, I think, is another guy who is going to have a lot of eyes on him, right?
The bracket's interesting as well because we got people like Pedro Mourinho, who's #1 light heavyweight champ. Mm-hmm. And then we have Giancarlo Bodoni, definitely capable of competing in the under 99. And then we have people like Jay Rodriguez, who competed under 77. Chris Wojcik could definitely compete under 77 as well. Mm-hmm. It's like a little split, and Elder Cruz is another example of a heavier competitor. We have this split of people who can compete lower and can compete higher in this 88 kilogram division. I think all eyes are certainly on the returning champ, Giancarlo. But I also want to say that on the opposite end, Pedro Mourinho displayed good tools to beat Giancarlo with like I wouldn't say superior wrestling, but a different style of wrestling. You know how the new wave is really a lot of collar tie, a lot of upright wrestling, upper body sort of trying to utilize Russian tie, a lot of judo influence, whereas Pedro Mourinho was double leg, single leg, more like the, I don't know, Joe, you're a little more familiar with like I don't want to use wrong terminology for wrestling, but
just throw it out there.
You know your stuff, yeah.
Reddit will correct you.
Yeah, don't worry.
So like redneck, I'm just joking. No. Yeah. But like more the freestyle, like the freestyle wrestling?
It's both freestyle and folk style, yeah. I would say that...
I was right.
I would say that Bodoni and the New Wave team implement a style that's a lot more similar to judo than it is to wrestling, right? Where their stance is much more upright. It's a lot more foot sweeps. It's a lot more heavy collar ties.
Greco too, right? Greco's
a little bit of
Greco.
Like there's some Greco influence to it for sure. They're using a lot of elbow pass work, but really they're just trying to tire you out. And I think that if Bodoni were to make it to the finals against Mourinho, I think that he would be trying to tire him out a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of that if those two face off again. He wasn't able to do it in that first match just because Pedro was able to get to his positions, and he's not going to tire out in his positions. So that's really kind of, I think, the battle there.
How are you going to shoot on Pedro Mourinho, though, dude? That's a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
That's a front row seat to the Gilly Goose gang right there. You know, if you shoot on Pedro Mourinho, you're going to get guillotined. So, I don't know.
You're going to get Gilly Goose.
Did you just say Gilly Goose Gang?
Oh, yeah. Shout out Dustin Poirier. baby. The Gilly Goose
Oh, is
gang.
he called the Gilly Goose Gang? Dustin Poirier does?
He'll jump a Gilly.
They're not looking for applications.
I know. I've heard of.
Hey, don't be
the
silly,
Gilly.
Jake. Don't be silly. Jump the Gilly.
I have jumped the Gilly to no effect in my lifetime. Trust me. And you know what?
Jumping Gilly's sick. Josh Hanger got a sick Gilly.
I don't want to be that guy, but has Dustin Poirier submitted anybody in the UFC with a guillotine?
No.
Never anyone in MMA.
No.
Never anyone in okay,
a
well.
lot of people in the gym.
Pedro Mourinho, and you know what? Pedro doesn't really jump the
stop
Gilly.
believing in himself?
No. It's fine. Let's move on past
Talk about
that.
how he never became champion, too.
Yeah,
then.
before the Diamond,
Kills you.
his freaking brand reaches out to me and files a class action lawsuit.
As they should. And we're in full support. I'm kidding.
We're on their side.
I gotta get up and no, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Pedro Mourinho not known for jumping the Gilly too, right? He usually does the guillotine from he'll go down to either turtle position or he'll straight up arch it.
Throw you. I remember at trials he just threw a guy
He'll
off the
suplex
mat.
people.
Yeah.
With the guillotine, kept it and ended up just coming up onto side control and getting the guy there.
Seems like a
he's
nightmare
super vicious.
situation to be in. To be
Oh,
honest.
it's terrible.
That dude on your neck.
Yeah,
I like this Taylor Perriman Jay Rodriguez match.
That's the one that stands out to me the most.
yeah, that's a good match.
I almost feel like I'm doing Taylor dirty there because
I think it's
Jay does know leg lock defense. Although Jay's been tapped out 3
kind of
times.
a tough match for
with leg
Jay. I
locks.
feel like
Yeah.
with Taylor, who's seems to be kind of one of the best leg lockers in this division. I would have to say.
Yeah,
Probably.
I mean Taylor's also a guy going back to the Pato saying I got wrestling. I just hadn't had to show it. Taylor's a guy where he says
Well-rounded.
he's like, dude, I'm not a leg locker. It's just that was the easiest way for me to win trials. Is just come in leg lock everybody. So he does say I have a well-rounded game. That's not actually I'm not one. I think he straight up said I'm not a leg locker. It's just that was the easiest route to victory. So I mean, who knows? He could show a really sick game. But also, if you just, there's an element here when predicting these brackets, which we're doing. We don't know the actual brackets we're predicting. Is you have to take into account the trials these guys competed at and how they did. So Jay Rodriguez, a former West Coast Trials winner with all subs. Taylor Perriman, European Trials winner. Which the European scene is closing the gap for sure, but you still have to value winning
It's not
North
the
American
same. It's still
trials
not the same.
as a higher accomplishment than European trials when it comes to ranking trials winners against each other.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, it makes sense to put a former West Coast Trials winner, one of the craziest trials runs ever, honestly, against a European Trials winner who had an equally crazy run for the European Trials, all submissions. But so I think in that element, I like that dynamic. Let's put two dudes. Let's go North America versus European Trials, all subs, put it together and see how that plays out. So I like that. I like that matchup for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like there's. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just gonna say I'm also really interested to see all the people who are getting the shot, whether it's last minute or whether it's the second or third choice. I'm interested to see the kind of fire that they bring into the bracket too, because they are getting this opportunity due to whatever circumstances, like Luke versus Giancarlo, Taylor Perriman winning trials, but Chris Wojcik being invited. These are all things.
Andre Porfirio.
I'm excited because they know that they know that they're here and they have an opportunity to make a moment.
100%.
And I think that is a special thing.
And all you need is a moment, right? For a lot of these guys, you need one upset can really help change your career.
I feel like that's true for literally everybody in that bracket except for Giancarlo. I think Giancarlo's probably got the most pressure on him in the bracket, whereas everybody else is just kind of looking for, obviously everybody wants to win, but a big win on this stage is big for any of these guys, for all of these guys. But Giancarlo, he's kind of, everybody's expecting him to do well,
if he
show
doesn't
out
win,
again and win again. So
He's the returning champ.
So I feel like Giancarlo's just got a little bit more pressure on him than kind of everybody else in this division.
Yeah, it's one thing to join the elite group of guys who are ADCC champions, but to be a multiple-time ADCC champion and also to go back-to-back, that's you're a very small elite group. You got any tidbits on champions for us in your history research?
In my history of the 88 kilogram division?
Or just all of
No,
ADCC?
I left my laptop out there. No,
Very few non-Brazilian champions in 88 as well. Gordon,
yeah, I
Bryan,
think
and
77 I think is split, where 77 I think is split in terms of how many champions have won either America or Brazil. I think it's 7 and 7 respectively. But 88 or maybe that's the 88 kilogram division.
No, Gordon was the first American to win under 88.
Oh, was he? Okay, then I'm thinking of.
But there's another I think it was a Japanese guy or something who won 88 before. I believe he's not the first non-Brazilian, but he's the first American.
He was the first
A
American.
lot of information.
Yeah, definitely first.
A lot of information.
We're putting you on the spot for sure.
It put me on the spot.
In
I left my laptop out
1999,
there.
in 1999, there was a Russian guy who won.
Russian guy. Okay.
In
Einamo,
77,
right? Was that John Olaf Einamo?
He's
That
Norwegian.
was Karamula Barkaleev, won in 1999. As we're all familiar with Barkaleev, we're all familiar with him and his style and everything he's done.
Yeah.
I think it might be minus 99 that has like even, or plus 99 even that has even.
Because there's a bunch of Mark Kerrs
There's
in
a
there.
bunch of Mark Kerrs. Rico Rodriguez is around. Mark Robinson. It was actually the 5th iteration before a Brazilian won at plus 99. Crazy.
Jake, I got a question for you, Jake. Do you miss the days of ADCC when dudes showed up in the tiniest little shorts possible?
And no shirt.
That's an interesting question.
We've been waiting for a guy like you to ask this.
What I mean, well, first of all, a guy like me.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't, not on the.
Don't listen to Trey. Trey's
Am I a little more suit and tie for
Oh, a
you,
little
or-
classy fella, the guy who knows, the history of ADCC, been around
Wears a good
learning
polo?
learning the history of ADCC is because I got the polo. I mean, shoot, Majid Hage goes out there and wears like these swim trunks, swim trunks, and a loose fitting T-shirt.
Majid did tell us if he
sick.
made the finals at South American trials, he was going to go out in a sunga.
What is a sunga?
That's like the Speedo, the
Speedo.
Brazilian Speedo.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
100%.
Dennis Hallman style.
He
Yeah.
got a penalty in the semifinals, and I was like, damn it! like, oh no, the Sunga, we missed out.
Oh my gosh, no.
So you don't miss the shorts, or?
I don't care. I think
Okay.
that,
Okay.
no, I mean, it's ADCC, dude. You're gonna see some crazy stuff. I think if I saw the Dennis Hallman style, then I would probably not be too much of a fan.
If you fought ADCC, would you wear the gi top?
No. Like Saulo Ribeiro did to Jeff
Yeah,
Monson?
yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that. That is a terrible idea. Not that they can use it. They can't wear
You can
the.
Ezekiel choke him.
No, you can't use your own gi.
Oh, damn, really?
Can't
No, you can't. You can't use your gi, and they
I
can't.
thought you
the
could
gi.
use your gi. No.
No, I think Mo told me that you can't do that. And look at Joe. Scoops. Joey
Joe's
Scoops.
looking it up.
Say Joey Scoops is his name.
Joey Scoops.
Joey Scoops is out there.
Oh,
looking
you're-
it up.
dude.
I believe that when I asked Mo, can I use the gi? I think he said, no, you cannot use the gi as apparel. And I think the reason Saulo did it is because Jeff Monson was really slippery. And he was shirtless, and Saulo wanted to be able to hold him and have some
makes sense.
friction on him.
That makes sense.
Is why Saulo did it. Maybe I would wear the
one of
gi.
the few guys ever. Jeff Monson, one of the few guys ever disqualified for greasing at ADCC.
Wow.
So that was actually
That would
probably
make
a good
sense.
call.
Wow.
Yeah,
Makes
against
sense.
Shanji, they started the match, and Shanji was like,
Oh, I was just watching that match the other day. And I was like, wait, what just happened? Why did it stop?
Yeah, it was because he was
okay.
it was covered in stuff, and they spent like a couple of minutes trying to wipe him down, and then finally the table came over. It was like, you don't wipe him down, you just stop the match if he's greased
over.
up. Yeah,
That was the original grease gate.
yeah, straight up.
I do think one of the coolest things to wear, like looking back at old fits, we did an episode where we drafted the best ADCC fits, is headgear. Yuri wore headgear in 2015, I believe. He
you
had, like,
serious?
headgear and like Vale Tudo shorts and a mustache, like just a little like thin mustache. It looked awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's a cool look.
Yeah.
And then he won, right? That's
Yeah.
the year he won. So I mean, I don't know all the history. I don't know all the stats. Potentially, only guy to ever win wearing headgear, Yuri Samois. So
That would make sense.
and potentially 100% success rate. I've never seen another guy wear headgear at ADCC, and the only one I do know that has won. So
So a little tidbit there for you
Yeah.
guys.
I appreciate it.
Trying to win ADCC.
Everybody's trying to
wear
find an
headgear.
edge.
Everybody's finding it.
everyone who's ever worn headgear at ADCC has won.
I like Isaac here in this bracket too, man. I think it's been a minute since we've seen Isaac here, but I think he's a pretty elite competitor, and from what I hear, and he's got some good training going on right now, and I think he'll be pretty prepped for this weight class.
For sure. I definitely think he's a guy to watch as well. I believe Luke Kennard, I think he might have went all subs at,
did go all
at
subs.
Asian trials.
He did.
So he's another guy, another all subs trial winner who's in the mix, which I don't know. It's just fun to see those dudes. It's such a cool thing to go all subs at trials where it's like, all right, let's see how this guy does on the big stage, Anybody else stand out to you guys?
Elder Cruz, I mentioned him a minute ago. Him taking out Felipe Costa is a match of former 99s. I think whoever comes out of that could be a real force in this bracket. Couch, guys, do we think Couch can medal here at this ADCC? Maybe not given this
count him
bracket,
out.
but at least given this field.
No, absolutely. I think
Yeah.
Couch has an opportunity to be in the finals here. That'd be awesome, especially after watching him at the East Coast trials just buzzsaw through everybody. I think he's really a much better tournament competitor. And once he gets a little bit of kind of momentum going, it's hard to stop him. So,
All right. So
if Jacob Couch wins ADCC Worlds, does he run around and high five everyone at T-Mobile?
ooh,
I think that.
gotta get a Mountain Dew sponsorship.
Shoot, man, yeah, give that kid whatever sponsorship he wants if he does that.
At that
man.
point, yeah,
for sure.
That'd be crazy. When he did that, when he ran around the entire arena, dude, that was like that. They could have
was
like
so fun.
They could have ended it on like the last high five, like freeze frame roll credits.
Yeah,
it was just such a beautiful.
No, it's like
wholesome moment.
rewatching that footage. It's just like every person just has the biggest smile on their face, just being like, "Slap my hand, Jacob! Slap my." Everybody is just so pumped. Like it was just such a good moment,
Bro, everything about that. And then we were doing the post show wrap up. Me and BMAC were
That's right.
wrapping
Came
up.
over and got on it.
Came over, got on it, and he's like, I'm like, Jacob, who do you want to thank, man? He thanks his mama, starts crying. I'm like, dude, this is
Legend.
quality television. This is
He
amazing.
rules. No, he rules. It's always cool to see him win at the high level.
100%. All right, so for sake of time, we got one more thing we want to show everybody. We got a trailer for the Roots series. This trailer, every episode's dropped now, right?
All 7 episodes are on FloGrappling right now. Check them out. They're going to go up on YouTube as well. So check them out there in a couple weeks. But all 7 episodes of the Roots series out now. Check it out. Fun series. It's got some jiu-jitsu. It's got some extra stuff in there, some surfing, some ADCC. Tried to make it a little different than your average kind of jiu-jitsu series. But, obviously the Ty and Cade are just 2 people you got to watch, man. They're just fun to watch no matter what. So
100%. So you can go to FloGrappling right now, go to the film section on our site. There should be a link up in the top left of our website, FloGrappling.com. That'll link you straight to the Roots series. If you want to watch every episode, it's up there now. You can watch it for free. And then it's going, each episode, there's 4 out on YouTube so far. The last 3 are dropping each Monday. We're dropping a new episode. So if you want to follow along there, make sure you're tuned into the FloGrappling YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe right now so you don't miss it when those drop. Let's go ahead and roll the trailer we got here for Roots. See what these kids are up to.
The idea of having a twin brother for jiu-jitsu is the dream. Ty and Cade, they know black belt jiu-jitsu since they're 9 years old. They were beyond their years.
They are exciting and they go and just put everything out on the line.
Their vibe, their energy, it's something that's much needed in the sport.
We all knew they were going to be superstars.
Welcome, we're here at the Roots compound. This has been our happy place for the last couple of years.
You can't do these training sessions that we're about to do every day.
They're surfers that do jiu-jitsu.
It's like jiu-jitsu, it's like surfing, everyone got their own style they gotta develop.
The most important thing it takes to become the best in the world is an absolute love of the game.
Pretty soon we're gonna be unbeatable.
Boys always say we want to bring jiu-jitsu back to its roots.
They're the future of grappling.
Now the world knows.
There we go, dude. The Roots series, one of my favorite series we've dropped on FloGrappling. Obviously, Reed done a great job with that. Derek, the editor and stuff, made an incredible thing there. So, like we said, make sure and watch that on FloGrappling.com. It's available now the entire season. You can binge it if you want. Make your girlfriend watch it too, and have her leave a comment with her thoughts as well, especially if she doesn't do jiu-jitsu. Spread the word. Get this outside of the jiu-jitsu bubble. And they'll be dropping the last 3 episodes coming out each Monday, a new episode on FloGrappling.com. I think that's a wrap here for the ADCC update show. Jake Watson, thanks for tuning in. You got a last little tidbit?
I got a last little tidbit. Here's the thing. Because I got my phone because I left my laptop in the other room. I wanted to say that actually, so it's the 99 kilogram division for ADCC has an even split of 7 champions for Brazil and America. And then under 99 has Ricardo Arona won twice as well as Shanji. 10 medals for Brazil, 3 for America, and then I think the 1 was for Norway with John Olav Einemo. Under 88, 1 champion for Russia, 3 for America, 10 for Brazil. Marcelo Garcia won 4 times in the under 77, so that's 3 for America, 11 for Brazil, and then again under 66 is 14.
There you have it.
Yep.
Make sure you guys tune in August 17th and 18th. It's all going down T-Mobile Arena. We're going to see if, we'll change up the stats after that one with Jake Watson. We'll get you back in here. We'll get the new rundown of everything's going on in a post-2024 ADCC world. But thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man.
Hopefully everyone at home enjoyed that one. We'll see you guys in the next episode.